So Nicole's one was like, sorry, I'm out of breath. Oh, it's hot. Hey. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your patience because I didn't post last week because I was having an existential crisis and I just could not bring myself to do the things that I wanted to do. I did not achieve the things I wanted to achieve, but you know, sometimes that's just how life is and you just have to roll with the punches. So thank you for waiting for me. We'll be as consistent as possible. I do want to be consistent for the people that have been giving me a lot of love. Thank you very much, by the way. So today what we're going to do is a movie review. I actually did a quiz on my Instagram because I post a lot on my Instagram stories. Not a lot, but like I post regularly on my Instagram stories, and then someone told me that I should just do movie reviews on my channel. So I was like, oh, let me do like a poll on Instagram and see if people would actually want to see that. And literally everybody that voted said yes, they would like to see that. So I said, let me come with my thoughts, because when I like watching movies. Like if I wanted to rank my hobbies, it's literally like top 3. So, and I have a lot of opinions, a lot, especially Nigerian movies, but we'll get to that. Today we're not talking about a Nigerian movie, we're talking about a movie that was recommended on Instagram again, because I was looking for movies to watch and I can't keep my AC on because it makes noise. So I have like a fan. So, so when I get hot, I just, anyway, yeah, oxygen. So the movie we're talking about today is called Marriage Story. It stars the amazing Scarlett Johansson and this guy called Adam Driver. I've never seen anything that he's in, but he was a really good actor. So I have a lot of notes on my phone. So if I look down, it's because I have notes on my phone. So the movie is kind of about a couple, not kind of, it's literally about a couple that's going through a divorce and just kind of the emotional processes and the legal processes and everything to do with their family and their child and like everything that just kind of happens during the process of their divorce, right? So the Netflix synopsis is literally Academy Award nominated filmmaker Noah Baumbach. I'm going to say Baumbach, but I don't know how to say his name. So excuse me if I said it wrong. Noah Baumbach directs this incisive and compassionate look at a marriage coming apart and a family staying together. This was kind of confusing to me at first because I thought that like throughout the whole movie I had like an expectation that they were going to get back together. I don't know why I got that from this blurb. I think the fact that they said family staying together, I just automatically assumed that they would get together at the end of the movie. Also, sorry, spoilers, because it's a movie review, so in case I'm going to probably end up spoiling. I mean, it's not that type of movie that you spoil things, but like I'm just going to say spoiler alert just in case you don't want to, because I'm going to go into detail on my opinions. So if you don't want that much detail and you want to watch the movie first, please go and then come back to this video. For anyone that has watched it or just does not care to watch it, keep going. So like from the blurb, I kind of thought they were going to end up staying together. They didn't. Not surprising upon watching the movie, but then I did go through the movie, I think, with a different lens. So that's why everything that happened in the movie seemed more outrageous for me, because I actually thought at the end they were going to get back together. So as things were happening, I was like, how is this going to work? So the movie started off with them saying, you know, how much I think they went to like a mediator, like someone to, because at first they didn't want to like involve lawyers. They just wanted to divorce amicably and just kind of sort everything out themselves. So at first they went to a mediator and then the guy was like, oh, write down stuff that you love about each other and like read it out. So the movie started off with the girl, Nicole, played by Scarlett Johansson. Nicole read out everything that she loved about the guy. I mean, she said it in her head, like she was narrating it and then we were kind of seeing it on screen, but she didn't actually say it out. Like after she finished her narration, it literally skipped to her being like, I'm not going to say this out loud. And then also Adam Driver, who played Charlie also did the same. I mean, Charlie was kind of like, I don't mind reading it out like to the mediator, like I'll read mine, I quite like what I wrote. Sorry, I'll unpack his character in a little bit, but like they just didn't read it out to each other, but they read it out for us, the viewers. It was beautiful because you could tell that they did love each other, so I liked that. And I also like how the movie was set up. Like it was just, as the movie was unfolding, you kind of saw their relationship unfold as well, so you could see where the problems are coming from, you could see why things were the way they were. So like the before and the after were like blended really well together. I quite like that. I like the way the movie was filmed in general. Like they filmed it in such a way where like you could really connect with the characters. Like when I tell you, like I've never been married. But like I've never gone through the type of stuff that Nicole, as like obviously she's the woman, so I relate more to her. I've never gone through that type of stuff, but like the way it was filmed, the way the camera would pan to her face at the right time, the camera would go wide at the right time, the way she poured like her emotion into it, like I could really feel her pain as if like it was a real person. Like I was like, oh my god, I just want to give you a hug. Like I get it, I understand. Your husband doesn't understand, but I understand. So let's unpack the two divorcees. Is that how you say it? The two people that are getting divorced. So first, Nicole is obviously the wife. Lovely character, as in lovely like actress that acted the character. I think she did it really well. So Nicole she had one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which was when she went to the lawyer's office. Laura is another one of my favorite characters, but I'll get to that one later. She's amazing. So Nicole had my top favorite scene. Laura's was the second one. So my favorite scene of Nicole's was when she was kind of saying, because Laura was like, okay, why are you guys getting a divorce? Like, what's the problem? And the thing, it was filmed without any cuts, like that I noticed anyway. I'm not technically trained, but it felt like there were absolutely no cuts in the entire scene. And she was talking for like a good maybe 3 or 4 minutes, like just kind of straight telling why she wants to get a divorce from Charlie. And it was a powerful scene, like as in, I cried actually. I'm not even going to lie, I cried. A little bit, not crying, but like I shed some small tears because it like you could just see how drained emotionally she was, how she went through so many emotions. Like she still loved him, but she knew that the guy was not good for her. And obviously if you watch the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I'll talk about some of the problems, but like I'm not going to, like I feel like you won't understand the gravity of it unless you actually watch the movie, and I really do recommend watching it. It was a very good movie. But yeah, like that was my favorite scene because the way she was talking about the problems and talking about how she lost herself and how she essentially became his fan. Like she wasn't his wife, she was just his fan. She supported him in everything that he did. She came up with ideas, but she was not her own person. She didn't have anything that was hers. Like she came from LA to New York and then met the guy and just stayed in New York. It's not as if she was living there. She just kind of stayed there because he was there. They eventually got married. She eventually got pregnant. Like it was just one of those things where like she did everything that he wanted. She was working for his own theater company. She was doing what he wanted. She was living her life according to his own whims and his own wills, and there was nothing that was hers. There was nothing that she wanted. Things that she wanted to do, like she would say like, oh, I want to spend some time in LA, like can we spend like a year there or something? You know, all her family is there. They even got married there. She had her kid there, but like her entire life that she's living for the husband is in New York. It's not in LA. But like he wouldn't want to, like he would just be like yeah, and then kind of put it off. But then there was a point where like because of his particular show, he carried all of them to Denmark. Is Copenhagen in Denmark? He carried all of them to Copenhagen for 6 months just for his work, but then he can't take them to LA for like a week or two just to see her family or just to go more. Like everything was very on his own schedule. But for Nicole, I think her main things are, you know, I like that scene. She's a wonderful mom to her kid. She plays with him a lot. She gives him a lot of attention. She does not, like, she drops everything for him, which I really like. The only thing that is like, I would say the only thing that's flawed is kind of her drinking. But like she didn't drink to the point of, like she's not an alcoholic, but she does have a little bit too many glasses of wine, in my own opinion. But like that's fine, everybody has their flaws. And she's a very good support system, so I think everyone in her family, and I feel like that sounds like a good thing, but I think ultimately that was her downfall, and that's kind of the reason that she got trapped in this relationship with Charlie, just because she's one of those people that like she gives, but like she does not think about herself. Like I feel like there are points where you have to think about yourself first, and she wasn't good at that point anyway. So, and she's also very emotionally expressive, which I think is something that does not work with the type of man that she married. Speaking of the type of man that she married, let's unpack Mr. Charlie, whatever his surname was. Charlie was married to his job. He was a director at the theater. His job was his everything. Like any money that he made from the theater was going back into the theater. Like that was his life, and that was his That was his passion, and that was fine, you know. But my problem with him, see, I didn't want to turn this into like a thing of it's entirely the man's fault, because I feel like it's very easy to, especially as much of a feminist as I am very, very quick to side with the woman in any situation. Like in any situation. If you've watched, what was that movie that with Taraji? Acrimony. Immediately I sided with Taraji because that man was moving mad. I'm sorry, I have to say it.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I lie?
Everybody was like, yeah, you know, they were wrong on both sides. She shouldn't have gone crazy and started shooting and killing everybody. But he drove her to it. That's the type of opinion that I normally have. But with this movie, I was like, okay, divorce is a serious thing. There are multiple things that go into it. So I said, let me not go into man bashing mode. Unfortunately, I have a list of points. Charlie is supremely narcissistic, as in, I don't even know how to describe, like, he just cannot understand somebody else's opinion. He can't understand somebody else's point of view. Everything has to be through his own lens, and everything has to be his way. And he gets very upset when he does not get his way. Like, he's somebody that, like, as in at the beginning of the movie, she tried to put him off as like somebody that's kind of stoic, doesn't really show that much emotion. But he shows his emotion when he does not get his way. And that even goes with his kid. Like, even with his kid. Like, there was a particular scene that really, really upset me, where like he came to LA to come and see them. This is like right in the middle of the divorce, like with the lawyers, and when things were starting to kind of get a bit nasty. And he came from the airport. He had a rental car, and like it had like a car seat, and she was like, oh, is the car seat strapped in? Car seat wasn't strapped in, and they were struggling to strap it in. But I think the problem came when, because that one was just kind of piling on to his annoyance, because he came 2 hours late. So the mom and the son were like in the middle of this treasure hunt game. And the son was like, oh, I don't want to go yet. I want to finish my treasure hunt. And he was like, no, let's go. You know, it's my time. I'm already 2 hours late. And he was just kind of getting upset that the son wanted to continue playing. And then he was like, oh, why did you start a treasure hunt when you knew I was coming? And she was like, you wasted 2 hours. Am I going to sit down here and be looking? But then he was just like annoyed that things were not going his way. And so the treasure hunt thing, the seatbelt, and the fact that, not the seatbelt, the car seat, and the fact that the son didn't want to get in the car immediately was all like making him annoyed, to the point where he actually started swearing at the son. He was like, literally, get in the car. Oh my god, sorry. But he was literally like, get in the car. And I was just like, this is a kid. Like, I know you want to spend time with your son, but you don't really have to leave the premises to spend time with him. But because he's so obsessed with winning and having his own way, like, even at the beginning of the movie, she said he was competitive, but he's competitive in every aspect. So, like, for him, it's like, him not getting in the car means that he likes my wife more than me. That's why I'm getting angry. Do you get that kind of thing? Like, that's the type of person that he is. So even when it comes down to his kid, he has to have his way. This is an 8-year-old child. Like, children, first of all, they're going to grow up into their own people. You also have to kind of let them do what they want. Like, you can't be, I feel like you can't be so rigid with kids. Obviously, I don't have kids, but that's just my opinion personally. I feel like you have to let kids kind of do what they do because they're still children. You can't just expect them to conform to your own schedule. But that's what he wanted. I mean, apart from I think like the narcissism and the control freak aspect was kind of the main thing for me. And if you don't really understand what a narcissist is, Breeny Lee has a very, very good video. I'll link it in the description box and in the thing that floats up here. She has a really, really good video breaking down what a narcissist is. And honestly, every girl here needs to go and watch it. Every guy here needs to go and watch it in case in case you have the narcissistic tendencies. Please go and watch. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not female narcissists, but most of the time, please, I don't have any statistics, but in my opinion, most of the time, the ones that tend to be more toxic are men. That's in relationships. Go and watch the video. It's going to be linked down below. It's a very, 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 very good video. Like, she explains it very, very well, so you understand. So when I say that this guy is a narcissist, I want you to watch that video so that you understand what I'm talking about. And then, like, when you watch the movie, you get it.
Homeboy's gonna, like, get it.
And then also with the whole narcissist thing, I don't think he was ever in love with Nicole the way that she was in love with him. I think he was in love with the support. Like, from day one, she was very like his support system, giving him ideas, smoothing his ego, and like she just gave him everything that he wanted in a person. But like, I don't think he was ready. I don't even think he's the type of person that is supposed to be married, because I feel like marriage is not for everybody.
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real. You lying? You not? But that's when
He's not the type of person that's supposed to be married. He's very passionate about his work, and that's fine. That's something that fulfills him. I feel like marriage was unnecessary for him, but he just married her because this was, first of all, it was a treasure chest of ideas for him. It was a permanent support system. What's the best thing to do to keep that type of person in your life, especially when the person doesn't even live in your city? As in, New York is here, LA is like here. Those that live in America, you know what I'm talking about. It's shafa. So like, for you to keep that type of person in your life, you put a ring on it. So the reason I'm not going into man bashing mode is that I don't think his personality or his narcissism is the reason that the relationship failed. I feel like it was the main contributor, but it was not what caused the relationship to fail. The relationship failed because, how do I explain it? I think that Nicole was in a transitional stage in her life, and she had not fully flourished into a person or into her own person. Like, she came off the back of filming this like movie that did really well. She had like a lot of job offers. She hadn't taken a job. She wasn't like permanently stationed anywhere. She was like living with her mom. She was in a very transitional place in her life. And when you're in that type of transitional place in your life, I feel like getting in a relationship that your partner is not somebody that is going to be 100% supportive, or like just support you on your journey and like be able to, not even that they're 100% supportive. I feel like when you get in a relationship with somebody that is not on the same page as you, it's very easy for you, because you're in a transitional stage, it's very easy for you to try and fit yourself into their life, as opposed to just having your own life and then letting the lives blend together. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, let's say she had like a fully realized career, she was living in LA and she knows she likes this guy. It will probably start off as like a long-term relationship. They're both kind of still doing their own thing, and they just kind of go at their own pace, and the relationship kind of flourishes on its own. But because she was in a transitional place, it's almost easier because this person has all parts of their own life figured out. They have a steady job, they have a house, they have a direction that they are going in. It's very easy to just be like, oh, let me just follow this person because they have everything figured out. So I don't need to go and do my own thing. It's much easier to do this. He has money, he has a house. I can just stay with him. Do you get that kind of thing? Where it's like subconsciously you just want the easier option, and you can't do that. You cannot be at that type of place in your life and then get in a relationship like that, where not only are you giving up on yourself, you're now getting a relationship with somebody that is very, very happy for you to give up yourself because he needs you to be less than him so that you can give him the support that he needs. Wow. Bars.
See, I'm telling you, I have the mind of a I have the mind of a mastermind. What's that? I don't know, but I'm so creative like that.
So, what do we learn? I have like a literal like notes, and it says, what do we learn? From the movie, I learned that divorce is very nasty. It's a very nasty process. I personally don't want to ever get divorced from whoever I marry, but this movie has really taught me that it's a very, very nasty process. They wanted to divorce amicably. Everything started off well. But the minute that the lawyers got involved, they started to paint a different narrative. So you start to actually look at that person as the devil, because for you to win in court, you have to kind of look at the worst parts of that person. And I feel like that's kind of where the relationships start to just decay, and like that, I feel like that's why people that get divorced, is very hard for them to kind of get back on track and like have like a proper family that is like, as in they're not married obviously, but like have like a balanced family system. So I feel like it's hard to do that once you get lawyers involved. And any chance, because of all the things that were said, like literally there was a point in when they were in court that Charlie's lawyer called Nicole a slut, because in the movie that she acted 10 years before, she basically like took her top off, and like that was just part of the movie. Like, it's an artistic decision, but the guy kind of painted her as an irresponsible mother because of that. They tried to paint a narrative just to make sure that the other side wins, but that thing like is good for the lawyers and it's good for their cases, but these are human beings, they're not just cases. So I feel like that's where any chance of reconciliation kind of goes out the window the minute that you involve lawyers. Not that I wanted them to reconcile, because I feel like the relationship didn't make sense, but if they wanted to, that whole lawyer process would have killed it. And then the second thing, I think the main, apart from Nicole kind of relinquishing her self-worth and her sense of self, the main reason their relationship crumbled was because of lack of communication. They both have very different communication styles. She's kind of very emotional, very aggressive when she gets emotional. She's not aggressive all the time. But he's one of those people that's just kind of like, I'm going to bottle it in, but then if you piss me off, I'll bottle it in until I literally explode. Like, he literally exploded on her 10 years later, saying things like, oh yeah, by the way, The guy cheated on her. I didn't talk about that one. I said I'm not going to bash any man. But the guy cheated on her.
He shock you.
Let's not get into that. But my own is that lack of communication shall kill the relationship. For me, it could have been the cheating. But I like that they didn't introduce that at the beginning. Because if they introduced the cheating at the beginning, that's what the whole movie would have been about. Let's brush that one under the rug. Lack of communication shall kill the relationship. Because if they just came together and talked, even though they have different communication styles, if they came together and talked, I feel like they could have achieved a type of synergy, or like realized that the relationship wasn't going to work. Even before they had Henry, the kid, they probably would have realized that the relationship wasn't going to work if they just talked. But then, I mean, Nicole didn't really know herself, so what was she even going to talk about? It took her 10 years to realize that she's not her own human being. I mean, yeah. The last thing that we learned was flourish and become your own person before you even, not even before getting into a relationship, because I feel like you can be in a relationship in that stage, but like don't lose yourself in a relationship. You are not the relationship is not you. You are your own person, and you're in a relationship with somebody that is also their own person. So don't lose yourself just to try and be something that the other person wants you to be. Be your own person. If they like you like that, then they like you like that. If they don't like you, keep it moving. It was a good movie, seeing the way everything was painted. But my favorite, let's go through my favorite supporting characters. Laura, the reason she's my favorite supporting character is there was this scene where she went on a rant about why society can accept absent fathers or bad, let's say bad fathers, but they can't accept it for a mother. A mother cannot be flawed. A father can be flawed, and it's fine. But if a woman is like, yeah, I have a glass of wine every day, so everybody's like, no. They know it happens though. You know that most moms have their own flaws. But to say it out loud, society doesn't like that. We have this idea of a perfect mother. And I mean, she went into things about it being based on Virgin Mary, and I feel like that was interesting. I don't know if it's accurate, but I can understand where she was coming from. And I think that's the reason that she's one of my favorite supporting characters, just because of that scene and just because of how she was throughout the movie. Ruthless lawyer, but a very nice supportive lawyer. Yeah, I just like her. I like her energy. Then another favorite supporting character is Nicole's mom. Nicole's mom was ridiculous. Like, she was 100% an alcoholic and needs to go to rehab. But that woman was funny. Like, I feel like she was a nice bit of comic relief. She was ridiculous. She needs to go to rehab. But she was funny, sha. My last favorite character was Henry. Henry was a breath of fresh air, especially with his interactions with his dad. He did not let his dad breathe for 1 second. Very, very outspoken. I love kids like that. I love kids that are outspoken. Obviously, he was an actor, but I feel like he acted it very beautifully. I really liked it. He could have easily become flip-floppy like the mom. I mean, I'm sure if they didn't get a divorce and he was still living under the same roof as the dad, he'll probably end up like that. But like, I feel like his parents got divorced at the right time for him, because he can still now grow up into his own person. He doesn't have to be under the thumb of the dad and just conform to everything that the dad wants. The dad will be like, oh, let's do this, and he'll be like, no, I'm not doing that. And the dad will be like, why? But we planned it. He's like, I don't want to do it again. Sorry, no. He gave so many good one-liners in that movie. Like, him and Laura are competing for my favorite supporting character. Even the car seat scene where the dad was swearing at him, like, imagine living with that type of father that just like swears at you and like has those emotional type of outbursts. Like, eventually you just kind of just do what he wants, because you don't want to be shouted at like that. You don't want to be shouted at like an animal, so you just kind of do what the guy wants. They got divorced at the right time for Henry. So in summary, I know this video has been so long, but the movie had a lot to unpack. I feel like it was a wonderful movie to watch. I don't usually watch emotional, not that I don't watch them, but like they're not my movie of choice. Like, movies that are kind of emotional, dramatic. I really like horror movies. I like action movies. I like psychological dramas. But like, this one was just like real life drama, and I really liked it. I think it was beautifully done, and there's so much to unpack. Like, I feel like I only even touched the surface of everything that happened. Like, see me, I only mentioned the cheating once. Me, if you follow me on any social media, you know I cannot, if there's one thing I cannot stand in this life, is a cheating mom. It's X, my spirits. My spirit, like when I hear it, my brain starts to rattle. I can't stand it, because are you an animal? I can't. And you know, he still couldn't see a problem with his behavior. Like, when she brought up, because there was a point where she actually brought up the cheating, and the guy, do you know what the guy's response was? I could have cheated on you more, but I didn't. Please, we're not here for this, okay? It was a nice movie. Go and watch it. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching my last video. If you haven't seen it already, please click in the link above and yeah, this was fun. I think I'm going to do another movie review. If you want me to watch any movies in particular or review any movies in particular, please feel free to message me on Instagram at ini_ga. Yeah, just follow me on Instagram. And I think I want to do like a proper series on like Nigerian movies that are on Netflix. So I've been watching quite a few interesting ones. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, and comment below what you think about the movie if you have watched it. And if you haven't watched it and you want to go and watch it, let me know what you think. If you don't want to watch it and you don't care to watch it, leave a comment anyway. Leave a like if you like the video, and please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I'll see you next time. Bye. My God, never flop. Hello, Bill Gates. Oh my God, that was so rad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. The red hair will never die.